Hi, today I'm a little later than usual because I had a very interesting meeting with brilliant colleagues. So, good day. Uh, but there is something that I wanted to share with you, also something that came up with this meeting. And, I will start by looking at something that someone else did wrong because it's so much easier to point the errors that others do, so much easier to see our own errors. And so that realization helped me then realize my mistakes, but we will get to that. So we are working on getting our new website. And you will not be surprised learning that the agency that should deliver the website is late. We wrote down our nice contract, delivery date, end of February. uh, I, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but something tells me that end of February is past and gone, and we are approaching end of March. Do you think that we will have the new website online by the end of March? Of course, we will not. But, it's not my first rodeo. My level of surprise is below zero on that. But what I think is not great is that, the company didn't reach out and tell us, sorry, we are late because this happened. Maybe try to blame us as web agencies typically do. Or try to explain the reason, say, we will get it done by the next 6 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever. And so, I'm sure that probably there is someone working in this web agency thinking, oh, the client will be impressed by the quality of our work, but how nice the website will look at. But in reality, what we will remember perhaps would be also the quality, but for sure I will remember that we were late, they didn't, communicated well, they didn't set reasonable expectation, and so they handled these things poorly, like 90% of companies do, and like I'm sure that unfortunately sometimes we may also have done, despite I'm paying attention to this, and this is something I really, really hate. But yeah, it's so easy to set up a plan and then execute it poorly. And the result is that, the client sees that and will not be happy. And, as someone that work in services, this is something that is important to remember and to keep in mind. So it's easy to follow the execution because I think it's so much easier to focus on other things, like focus on strategy, focus on having the best ideas. And you feel so smart because you you had found a new solution to an architectural problem. You have a new solution about a process that you can set up. You feel great, you write some document, you set up some plan, and then you focus on something else. And the only effect that your plan had was to making you feel smart for 3 seconds. But unless you execute it, the impact will have on the world outside of you and your ego is zero. And for example, recently we realized that we discussed some monthly goals 1 month ago. Today we look at the goals, and some of them have not been achieved because we forgot about those. And I'm laughing, but I'm ashamed of myself for doing that. But I'm also sure that many of the professionals listening to us, especially the one with a little more experience, feel, yeah, sure, been there, done that. This is something that happens. We get distracted. We are so poor at doing small things like executing check regularly on boring things that needs to get done and pay attention to the details. But I think this is where the battles are won. So personally, one goal that I set to myself is to focus more on execution. I will need to find other ways to cultivate my ego, but I think that there is where we can make a difference, and that's sometimes it's just okay to have a solid idea and delivery on it, and it's so much better and much more impactful than waiting for having the perfect idea, the perfect design, that then we don't have time to implement, or maybe we spend months planning and not executing it. This reminds me of the very famous sentence from George Patton that it is better a plan violently executed today than a better plan in 1 week or so. So yeah, let's focus on the boring execution, get things done, and make an impact. Thank you.